Hey, I'm Pete Blackshaw, and welcome to our first episode of This Week in Social Media. And I'm really honored to have a rising star in the industry, actually someone, full disclosure, who I'm actually helping out a bit. Can't take any credit because he has built, as a Miami student, he's now a senior, built a remarkable agency that's helping brands figure out TikTok, Instagram, and other social aspects. So Emil Barr, tell me a little bit about your agency, and then we'll kind of dive deep into some advice for brand builders.
Thanks a lot, Pete. Really happy to be here and really happy to be on your show. The concept for Step Up Social is really pretty simple. What we saw 2 years ago when we started the business was that everything was going towards short form video. TikTok wasn't quite mainstream yet, but it was starting to become more and more part of the social media dialogue. And when I remember I was sitting in a marketing class with a group of a few other, people that would go on and become early hires at the company. And what we saw there was that people were really craving authenticity. I think that a lot of the times they saw that Instagram was too polished, Facebook seemed too polished, lots of paid media, and they were also craving for a way in a world where every photo can be photoshopped and differentiated, and now with AI we're seeing this more and more. How do you create something that really feels real? And so TikTok sort of came in for that gap, which was creating these very authentic user experiences, which couldn't be faked, which is oftentimes it started organic. There weren't many companies on the platform. And so what we built the agency around was, hey, how can we help brands, number one, get on TikTok, sort of tap into this audience, but number two, how can brands just be more authentic to their core customer, and so instead of showing them the most beautiful side of their brand, kind of showing them something a little bit more unique and real and drawing customers in that way. So the last 2 years have been fantastic. The biggest thing that we could have never predicted coming was that Instagram Reels would become mainstream and Facebook Reels, and now you have Pinterest Watch and YouTube Shorts. And so we live in a world today where every social media platform essentially is prioritizing these sort of short, viral, sub 60-second videos, which is what we've been building and getting really good at doing for the last 2 years.
I just want to push you a little bit more beyond authenticity. Like, what makes TikTok and Instagram Reels so unique? And not just unique, but challenging for more traditional agency, even traditional digital agency practitioners.
So the first thing that's really unique about TikTok and Instagram Reels compared to other social media is 5 to 10 years ago, social media was a way you connected with your friends and you kept up with news. You kept up with what your friends were doing, you kept up with what your favorite brands were doing, you kept up with what was going on in the world. TikTok has shifted that, and TikTok will tell you this themselves if you talk to their team. TikTok is all about entertainment. People aren't going on TikTok to see what their moms, their people from Facebook are doing, where they're working now or anything like that, what's new in their lives. They're looking to be constantly entertained. So TikTok doesn't encourage sharing life updates. It's not a real-time platform like you see Twitter, which is now X, or Instagram or Facebook. TikTok is purely a place where people go to.
It's the world's biggest variety show.
Exactly. It's a place where people are going to be entertained. And that is, I think, a very different, in addition to the authenticity, that's a very different paradigm shift in how brands are thinking about social media. In terms of sort of what we're seeing that's a little bit different and that we see brands struggle with a bit is I do think tying into that entertainment piece is oftentimes on Instagram you're seeing what your friends are up to and occasionally being served an ad and it still feels like an ad, versus on TikTok ads don't really work. So your content has to be native to the platform. People are okay with seeing 5 photos from their family on Facebook and then seeing an ad for something that they like or they're interested in. But on TikTok, there are no ads. It's just these sort of different entertaining videos. So as a brand, you have to create videos that are authentic and blend in with the rest of the content on a platform in a way that you don't have to on Facebook or Instagram, because there isn't that line of separation of, hey, this is obviously an ad, this is something your friend would create. It's designed to sort of all blend together in one, which is—
I think what you're saying is that the to be effective as a content provider on TikTok, you can't really make it look like it's a traditional ad.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got to be entertaining, and to some extent, if you're almost like too disciplined to the brand way of doing things, you may lose out on audience.
It sounds simple, but to do well on TikTok, you have to make TikToks, which again sounds very simple, but that's something where you ask about the student angle. Well, everyone that works at our company, is our requirements to even get a job interview at the company is you have to be a student and you have to have at least 30,000 followers and 1 million views in the last 6 months. So